morning, students. Welcome to Lagos Progressive Junior Secondary School online class. Today in Business Studies, we'll be moving on to Lesson 7. And then in Lesson 7, we are going to move on to a new topic, which is insurance. Before we move on to our new topic under Lesson 7, which I said is insurance, let us quickly do a revision of what we did during the last class. Yes, during the last class, we were able to look at banking services, where we discussed on the meaning of banking, the types of bank. We also move on to explain commercial banks, the function of commercial banks, and the services rendered by commercial bank. So let us quickly see if we can still remember vividly some of the things that we learned during the last class. Yes, you can remind me, what do you understand by banking services? I can see your hands up. Yes. Yes. Very good. Very good. Oriagba. Very good. Very good. Very good. Yes. She said banking services can be defined as those things like helping to save money or keeping important valuable documents. Yes, can somebody list the types of bank that we mentioned in the last class? Yes, I can see your hands up. Yes, we mentioned central bank, commercial bank, mortgage bank, developmental banks, and so on and so forth. Yes, can somebody explain to me what we mean by commercial banks? Very good, I can see your hands up. Yes, Timinai, yes. Okay, very good, very good. Keep it up, well done. Yes, commercial banks are those banks that we refer to as people's banks. They are responsible for keeping money and other important valuable documents for people. Yes, can somebody tell me some of the functions of commercial banks? Yes, Suli Adiola. Yes, they help people to keep their money. Yes, they give advice to people on how to spend their money. Very good, very good. Clap for yourself. Well done, and keep it up. Then lastly, we also discussed on the services rendered by commercial banks. All these were some of the things that we discussed on banking services during the last class. Today we are moving on to our lesson 7, like I rightly said, and then in our lesson 7, our objective will be, at the end of this lesson, students should be able to, 1, define insurance. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to tell us what we mean by insurance. You should also be able to tell us by listing out the benefits of insurance. You should also be able to tell us at the end of this lesson the types of insurance that we have. And lastly, you should be able to explain each types of insurance. All these 4 are the objectives that you are expected to achieve at the end of this lesson. Yes, like we have already said, our first objective is to look at what we mean by insurance. And when we are talking about insurance, insurance is a very common word that we use very often, particularly when we are trying to describe something that needs protection or guidance. Yes, and that is why I have defined insurance in a very simple and straightforward way, by defining it as a process of protecting against unforeseen circumstances. From what we have on the screen, I said insurance can simply be said or can simply be defined as a protection against lives and property. It can also be said as a protection against unforeseen circumstances. Nobody in this world, as long as you are a human being, that can give you a guarantee that we are all protected. It is Almighty God that can give them. But that notwithstanding, in one way or the other, our lives and property needs to be protected. And if you remember, during one of our classes where we are discussing other aids to trade, where I said aids to trade are those activities that make trading possible, you remember that other aids to trade, we also discussed on some of of the activities that makes trading possible, and we concluded that without those activities that trading can never be possible. If you remember there and then, one of them was insurance. And that is why when we are talking about insurance, the best way to define it is to define it as a protection against unforeseen circumstances that can happen to our lives or our properties on a daily basis. In one way or the other, our properties, some properties are being affected by unforeseen circumstances. If such properties or lives that are affected are not protected through insurance, I wonder what will happen to the owner of such properties or to the owner of such life. Let's look at benefit of insurance. One of the benefits of insurance is that it helps to reduce loss on business. It helps to reduce loss on business. As long as you call yourself a business person, you should also be prepared for loss. Yes, you should also be prepared for loss. As long as you are aiming to make profit, you should also have at the back of your mind that there is also loss in the business that you are going to do. That loss, yes, all things being equal, is expected to be at the minimum level. But when some loss occur, it can affect that business by making it to collapse. But through the help of insurance, they will put you or your business back where the business was before such occurrence occur. Then another one is that I said it serves as a means of saving for the future. You can use your insurance to save money that you need for the future. Then 3, I said it helps to provide cover against robbery. Yes, we all know what I mean by robbery. Thieves can come into our house, God forbid, at any time and steal all our available properties. But when such properties or our house is insured, the insurance company are going to cover that robbery for us. Then the fourth one, I said insurance policy can be used as a collateral security to obtain loans. When I say collateral security, I mean something that is tangible that might be requested when you want to borrow money from the bank. And one of such thing is your insurance policy. Then the last one that I said, in the event of death, the family or beneficiary could be compensated for the loss or damage. Yes, there are certain type of insurance that is expected to take care of that person that is sure his life after his death. Yes, it is expected that the family should not lose two things. They should not lose that person that died, and at the same time, the responsibility that that person is taking on the family. So if that person has insured his life before his death, in the eventuality of that certainty of death, automatically such person or the beneficiary will be compensated. Let's move and look at types of insurance. For this class, we are going to focus on 5 major types of insurance. 5 major types of insurance. And the first one is motor vehicle insurance. The second one is marine insurance. The third one is fire insurance. The fourth one is life assurance. And the fifth one is health insurance. This is the 5 types of insurance that we are going to look at under this beautiful topic, insurance. Now let's look at them one after the other. The first one, like I already said, motor vehicle insurance. Motor vehicle insurance. Yes. From the display that you are seeing on the screen, you can see a car that is parked and an umbrella is covering it, meaning that a sheet is covering that car from external attack or unforeseen circumstances. If you look at the second picture that has just been displayed, it's like a car is moving in front and an unforeseen accident happened from the back. In this case now, the car behind has been damaged and the one in front too has been damaged. Then the third diagram is showing us a real accident situation. Now the diagram is giving us a brief of what we want to discuss under motor vehicle insurance. And when we are talking about motor vehicle insurance, this type of insurance is taken against damages, loss, or accidents involved in motor vehicle. I'll come again. I said this type of insurance is taken against damages or loss or accidents involved in motor vehicle. It can also be called motor insurance policy. It can also be called motor insurance policy. Thank God we are living in a world where we rely more on the movement on the road. And when I say rely more on the movement on the road in Nigeria, 80%, if not 95% of our movement makes us rely on the movement of the road, either through cars, buses, bicycles, tricycles, and so on and so forth. And on a daily basis, as long as you have a personal car or you are entering a public transport, you would have seen accidents occur. Now, this type of accident that occurs on the road is what we refer to motor vehicle insurance, and it can also be called motor insurance policy. Motor insurance policy can be divided into two parts. Can be divided into two parts, and the first one is a comprehensive policy. Comprehensive policy. In this type of policy, it is assumed that it is the most expensive policy. Yes, it is the most expensive policy, but despite being the most expensive policy that we have under motor vehicle insurance, one thing that it helps in doing is that it covers all form of loss, damages, theft, injury, fire, or liabilities. All form. You can see that I said all form, whether it is theft, whether you park your car in your garage and you went and stay, and in the morning, God forbid, you could not find your car there, and after searching for some time, you came to the conclusion that such car has been stolen. You don't need to cry as long as you have what is called comprehensive insurance policy. The insurance policy, immediately you tell them, they will, after investigating for some time, they will buy you another car. That same car that you have insured is what they are going to buy for you. If it is even injury, if it is even fire or liabilities or damages that occur to such car, they are going to pay for such damages, and that is why it is called comprehensive insurance policy. The second type of insurance policy, the second type of motor vehicle insurance policy that we have is the third party insurance policy. The third party insurance policy. This is the most common type of insurance policy in nearly all the vehicles we have on our road in Nigeria. Yes, the third party insurance policy is less expensive than is less expensive, unlike the comprehensive insurance policy that we said is very expensive. The third party insurance policy is less expensive, and what it does to the person that's insured is that since the name implies third party, is only going to take care of the other person's property or vehicle. The other person property or by the compensation paid here is only for the damages or loss sustained by the third party, meaning that it is a bit selective. It is a bit selective. What happens if, for instance, if you are driving on the road and from the back you now hit the car in front of you? That means you at the back is the one at fault. So if you have a third party insurance policy, at least it will save you that embarrassment of starting to look for money to repair your own car and that person's car, because immediately you call your insurance company that an accident has occurred and you hit a car in front of you, they will tell you to take a picture of that car and send it to them. Immediately you send it to them, after maybe a day or two, they will ask you to take that person's car to the panel or to the mechanic that is going to repair it, and the cost will be paid by them. You are only going to have to look for money to pay for your whole vehicle, and that is why it is called third-party insurance policy. Now, the second type of insurance that we are going to discuss is called marine insurance. Marine insurance. Yes, as the name implies, marine, that is anything that has to do with the sea or the ocean. And anything that has to do with the sea or the ocean has to do with what? Ship, boats, canoes, and so on and so forth. If you look at the picture there, the picture should be able to give you an insight of what we want to discuss under marine insurance. In marine insurance policy, this is a type of insurance that covers loss or liabilities relating to ship and their cargoes on seas. Now, when we say ship, we all know ships are that big house that moves on the sea or on the ocean. Yes, I said big house because if you look at the shape, if you bring out the ship that you see on the high sea, if you bring them out on the dry land, you find out that they are even bigger than some of our house. So that is why I refer to them as the house on the ship. Now, this type of insurance that is called marine insurance helps to protect against loss or liabilities that has to do with ship and their cargoes. And when we say cargoes, we mean the goods or the loads that they are carrying. Anything can happen on the sea, and particularly all these ships, they travel from one country to another. For instance, you went to America to buy a beautiful car. That car will not fly here to Nigeria. Automatically, most of them are being carried up by ships, or cargoed by ships. So, God forbid, if anything should happen to that ship, automatically it's going to happen to your car too. But because there is what is called a marine insurance, such that if such unforeseen circumstances should occur, automatically they will be compensated, and everything on that ship too will be paid for without any remainder. So that is what we mean by marine insurance. So that's why I said marine insurance is a type of insurance that covers loss or liabilities relating to ship and their cargoes on sea. Marine insurance is required in international trade. You remember that I said that ship on the high sea travel from one country to another, meaning that since they travel from one country to another, they engage in what is called an international trade. And what do we mean by international trade? If you remember, that is the trade that happens between two or more countries. So marine insurance is required in international trade when goods are transported by ship. Now, under this marine insurance, we have marine insurance can be divided into two parts, and they are: the first one is marine insurance covering the ship, meaning that it is only the ship that will be compensated when the unforeseen incident happened. The second type is marine insurance covering the goods. Marine insurance covering the goods. So when the incident happened, depending on the person that insures that made the insurance, if that person only specify or are chosen only marine insurance covering ship, automatically when the unforeseen incident happens, they are only going to pay for the ship. But if it is only for goods on the ship, automatically they will not pay for the ship, but rather they are going to make payment for the goods. That is why it is advisable that in marine insurance, the owner of the ship should make sure that everything, including the ship and the goods on the ship, should be insured. So we move on to the third one, which is fire insurance. Fire. The word fire is a very familiar scenario, and God forbid if fire should happen. Most of the time, the chances of saving our lives or our property is very slim. Now, when we are talking about fire insurance, this insurance policy covers all various loss or damages caused by fires. It covers any loss associated with fire, such as loss of properties through fire outbreak. Did I hear somebody saying, in Jesus' name, fire will not happen to us? It goes beyond that. Let's be realistic with ourselves. Yes, Jesus too asks us to do whatever is needful to protect our lives and property. And one of such things is that when you have a property, try as much as possible to insure them. And one of the ways that you can insure them is through fire insurance. Then the next one that we are going to discuss is called life assurance. Life assurance. As the name sounds, life. What do we mean by life? That is the existence of human being on earth, meaning that we are alive because we are still breathing. There is life in us. That life in us that is still making us to breathe, to walk around, and to do whatever we are doing successfully needs to be protected. Yes, God has created us, and yes, God has done it in such a way that after creating us, He has put a certain amount of battery that is charged for a specified period of time, meaning that the same way that we charge our phone, and sometimes we do buy, if the battery in our phone is not good, we also do go and replace them. Sometimes some of us, because of the expensive nature of our phones too, we also go to the extent of buying cover that will cover the back, and also a protective sheet that will cover the front, so that when it falls down, it will not affect the phone. This same logic is what is expected to be applied to our lives. What do we mean by life insurance? When we are talking about life insurance, this policy is taken to cover life, and it is taken against the events that must happen. Life insurance is taken against the events that must happen. And when we say an event that must happen, automatically we all know that we came to this life through the creator that created everything that exists. And one day we are also going to go back to him. So life assurance helps in covering human life and is taken against the event that must happen. And the event that must happen is that we came to this life, and one day we shall all die. So life assurance deals with possibilities, and the possibility there is that we all are going to die. But the question is, when we die, is it not going to affect our families that we left behind? That is why we must make sure that we insure our life. Under life insurance, we have two types of life assurance. We have two types of life assurance, and the first one is whole life assurance. Whole life assurance. In this type of life assurance, the amount insured can only be claimed after the death of the man that insured his life. In whole life assurance, that person has insured his whole life, and that money can only be claimed by his beneficiaries after he that insured his life had died. So meaning that if daddy had insured his life before he died, and he had used one of his sons, maybe, well, Ifeanyi, Uche, Seki, Audu, as the beneficiary, they can only claim that money after their daddy had died. That money will help them, because if you look around us, the death of some parents has led to the has led to changing the direction of the future of some children. But if we have parents that understand all these things about insurance, and they are able to insure their life in case if this unforeseen incident happen, immediately they die, because it is certain we are going to die. So immediately they die, and it is being reported to the insurance company that daddy or mommy are dead, and they have insurance policy with you, and I am the beneficiary of it. They will investigate by asking you to bring the obituary, and they will come to confirm if what you have said is true. Automatically they are going to give you that money that has been insured, and that money can be used to continue your education and live a good life. The second type of life assurance is endowment policy. Endowment policy. In this type of life assurance, the sum insured can be claimed at the end of the year if the man is still alive, meaning that the money paid there is for an agreed period of time. In this endowment policy, the essence of doing this type of life assurance policy is that, well, maybe in a certain family, it is estimated that most of them that nobody has reached maybe a 40, and then a particular man that is doing very well with his business, he belongs to that type of family, and is maybe 25 years, and is probably doing very well in his business or in his work. He can decide to do an endowment policy such that, well, if he still has that grace on a yearly basis till he reach that 40 years, all he will just do, since the endowment is meant to last for probably 1 year or a stipulated year as agreed between you and the insured company, as long as he is still alive, whether he is alive or not, he is entitled to collect back his money. Meaning that endowment policy is more or less a type of policy that allows us to train ourselves for the unforeseen incident, that if the unforeseen should happen, at least the family of that person will not lose it all to death. Then the next one that we are going to discuss then is called health insurance. Health insurance. Health. Like they say, health is wealth. But the question is, how many of us do take care of our health? How many of us do take care of our health? Yes, in my language Yoruba, it is said Iku Oto and Oto, meaning that despite the fact that a person is sick, that doesn't mean that automatically he's going to die. And we are also seeing a situation where somebody too will not be sick, or probably I will still saw him on the field playing ball, jumping around, and the next few hours will be told that that person is dead. So automatically there is a difference between death and health. Health insurance, if you look at the screen, you will see a picture of doctors too, Abi, meaning that doctors too, yes, and also drugs too, yes, meaning that when we are talking about insurance, we are trying to talk about how to take care of our health. Now, when we are talking about health insurance is taken to cover an individual against any illness or sickness which may lead to hospitalization and payment of hospital bill. Health insurance is taken to avoid unnecessary bill charged by the hospital. In Nigeria, I'm sorry to say, we don't really enjoy free health services. Unlike some advanced countries, no matter what happens to your health, as long as you are paying tax or you are still an underage that is not yet paying tax, no matter what happens to your health, even if it leads to surgery, they will protect your life by making sure that they take care of that your health challenges. But that is not the case in Nigeria. We have seen a situation where somebody will be rushed to the hospital, and then the next thing the hospital will be asking you or telling you is that you should go and pay a certain deposit before they can attend to such person. So for such not to lead to problem or embarrassment for you, as long as you have an health insurance, immediately that sickness occur, automatically that person will just call his insurance company, or they will call, he will tell somebody to call his insurance company on behalf of him or her and tell them about his health challenges and that he has been rushed to a certain hospital. The location will be given to the insurance company. The insurance company will send somebody down to come and confirm, and if they find out that yes, it is true, every expenses that is expected to be paid in that hospital will be paid by such insurance company, meaning that the life of that person has been saved. That is where we are going to stop for this class. Any question for me? Yes. If you have any question, as usual, send your question to my email address, truon1518 at gmail.com. For this class, I'm going to send into the class, as usual, an assignment that you are expected to do. Do it very well. We'll meet during the next class. Have a pleasant